Hey, how you doing today? I am Taquila Coleman. In today's video, I'm going to share this word that the Lord just gave me as I was reading in the book of Ephesians. God is teaching your husband how to love you. This word is for God ordained spouses and standards, those who are currently married but standing for marriage restoration. Listen up, I'm going to just reveal to you exactly, how God revealed this word to me. So I'm reading the book of Ephesians, chapter 5, starting at verse 25. And this is what it says. It say, husbands, love your wives just as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her. I began to ask myself, okay, how did Christ love the church, right? This is how God speaks to me. This is how he give me my teaching. So as I began to ask myself this question, I began to seek out this answer because I wanted to know all of the ways Christ loved the church. Okay. Because when you figure out all of the ways Christ loved the church, this is the example on how our husbands are to love us. Okay. So so as I began to seek that information out, I continue to read. And it say to make her holy, cleansing her by the washing with water through the word. So this is how Christ was loving the church. Um and it say in verse 27, and to present her to himself as a radiant church without stain or wrinkle or any other blemish, but holy and blameless. Verse 28, this is where I begin to hear the Lord speak. In this same way, husbands ought to love their wives as their own bodies. He who loves his wife loves himself. Let's stop right there. When you take a look at and think about how your God ordained future husband, when you think about how your prodigal husband, for my standards, how your husband is responding to you, when you reflect back on how he's responding to you, how he's treating you, how he's talking to you, all of these things are communicating to you how he feels about himself. Okay. I want you to really see this. Okay, the criticism, the hurt and pain you're receiving from your husband, the adultery, that is being committed by your husband, the way how your husband is trying to destroy you and destroy what y'all build, right? All of these things are coming from your husband, the jealousy, the envy, the pride, right? Just the hate that's so ingrained in his heart. He's directing it towards you, but this is really God showing you this is how he really feels about himself, okay? Because scriptures say husbands ought to love their wives as their own bodies. He who love his wife love himself. So if your husband, even if your God ordained future husband, is projecting more hate and rejection toward their God ordained wife, that is a indicator this man, this person doesn't love themselves. They, view themselves more, rejected, right? They dislike themselves, all right? And this is why they cannot offer you love right now. This is why they offer you more hate, jealousy, and rejection because of how they feel about themselves, okay? It goes on to say in verse 29, after all, no one ever hated his own body, but he feeds and cares for it just as Christ does the church. So again, the what you love, you take care of. And if you are being neglected by your husband, again, it's a reflection of how your husband feel about themselves, okay? And so I know some of you are going to ask, well, does this apply if he doesn't know who I am? Listen, this word is for those God ordained spouses who your prodigal spouse has made it known to you that he know exactly who you are, okay? Even though he know you're his God ordained future wife, he's still dishing out hate. He's still dishing out hurt and pain. He's behaving towards you in jealous, hurtful ways. And for those of you who love to comment and say, "Oh, the God is not the author of confusion," He's not. When you understand evil spirits and that they can't operate through an individual, the hate, the jealousy, the envy. That's not God. That's an evil spirit that is operating through this prodigal. Okay. So just because an evil spirit is operating through someone, it doesn't mean God didn't choose this individual to be this person's God ordained spouse. Understand the difference. Okay. God didn't choose the prodigal. Okay. God has to deliver this prodigal out of the hands of the enemy and restore them back in right standing with the Lord, restore them back in their right mind, restore their heart. Then God presents that man and that woman together and join them in marriage. Okay. But understand the word is God is teaching your husband how to love you by first teaching him how to love himself. Okay. Understand what God is doing. God is teaching your husband while he's away from you, while he's going through his judgment season. God is teaching your husband what love is, where love comes from, how to properly love himself, because if he don't love himself, he can't love you or God. So God has to separate the two of you and get your husband alone and begin to teach your husband self-love. He has to teach your love. I mean, teach your love. He has to teach your husband that love is very patient. Love is kind, right? Love is forgiving, right? Love has no conditions. So remove the conditions off of, this relationship. This is what God has said to them, right? Love, when it's love, it speaks the truth in love. Love, it builds you up. Love never gives up on the one it love, right? Love cares for you. It takes care of the very thing it loves. So God is teaching your prodigal husband how to take care of themselves, how to speak kindly to themselves, how to be patient with themselves, right? God is teaching your prodigal husband, how to forgive themselves for past mistakes and failures, that they may have done towards you and with themselves. He's walking with them during this time. So know that God is teaching your husband how to love you by first teaching them how to love themselves. When they learn how to love themselves, they can love God, and in return, they can come back and love you. Okay. So with that, I am Taquila Coleman. I'll talk to you real soon. Take care.